So everyone's talking about bringing AI into the workplace, right? But how do you actually do it without, creating a total security nightmare? Today, we're going to break down the playbook for a smart, safe, and really effective generative AI rollout.
It really does feel like a gold rush out there, doesn't it? I mean, teams are just scrambling to adopt tools like ChatGPT, Claude, and Copilot. But here's the problem. All that speed often comes without any real strategy, and it creates this kind of chaotic free-for-all where security and governance get left in the dust.
So here it is, the most important idea we're going to talk about today, and it comes straight from the source. The single biggest mistake a company can make is just approving a brand, saying, yep, we're a cloud shop now. The secret, the real key, is to approve its individual features, its subproducts, in careful, deliberate stages. This one idea is going to guide everything else we cover. Hey, here's our game plan. We'll kick things off with a problem, then introduce that core solution. After that, we'll walk through a step-by-step rollout model, give you the exact questions you need to be asking, and then wrap it all up with a clear, actionable plan. All right, first up, the GenAI Gold Rush. This really gets to the heart of the battle every company's fighting right now. It's that classic tug-of-war between wanting all the incredible power of AI and being terrified of the security disasters it could cause.
Now, what's really interesting is that the danger isn't some rogue AI from a sci-fi movie. The actual risk is much, much simpler. It's all about access. Take Microsoft Copilot, for example. It only shows a user data they already have permission to see. So this means if your internal file permissions are a total mess, well, AI is just going to shine a giant spotlight on that mess, and fast. It all comes down to access.
Okay, now for section 2. And trust me, this is the real aha moment. This is the one mental shift you have to make to get your AI adoption strategy right. The big idea is to stop thinking about brands and start thinking about capabilities. Basic chat is not the same thing as an AI that can search your company's entire internal knowledge base. And that is not the same as an AI agent that can actually take actions for you, like sending emails or creating documents. Each of these features, these subproducts, has a totally different risk level and needs its own separate approval.
Let's make this super concrete. Someone says, hey, we should approve Claude. Okay, but which Claude? The team plan and the enterprise plan look pretty similar on the outside, but from a security perspective, they are worlds apart. Just look at this. The enterprise plan has critical features like SIM for managing users and audit logs for investigating incidents. The team plan? It is neither. If you just approve the Claude brand, you completely miss this gigantic, all-important distinction.
So, if approving by brand is the problem, what's the solution? Well, Section 3 is all about the path forward. It's a simple, memorable, and really powerful model for a staged and controlled AI rollout.
Let me introduce you to the 3-ring rollout. It's a way to think about AI features based on their risk level. You start in the safest inner ring, the core assistant. Then you deliberately step out into the second ring, grounded knowledge. And only when you are absolutely ready do you enter that highest risk outer ring, agents and automation.
So Ring 1 is your starting point. This is the low-risk zone, and it's all about personal productivity. Think basic chat with ChatGPT, or using Gemini to help you draft an email inside Google Docs. At this stage, the AI isn't connected to all your sensitive company data, so the controls you need are pretty foundational, things like single sign-on.
Now we're stepping into Ring 2, and the risk level starts to climb. Here, the AI is grounded in your internal company knowledge. It can search and summarize info from your private documents. This is incredibly powerful, but it means you need much stronger controls. You absolutely need things like audit visibility to see what information is being looked at and who's looking at it.
And finally, we have the outer ring, agents and automation. This is the highest risk, but also highest reward category. These are features where the AI can act on your behalf, scheduling meetings, sending emails, creating files. Because these agentic tools can actually write and change data, they demand their own very strict approval process with the toughest controls. Okay, so we've got our model. Now let's get practical with Section 4, the reality check. These are the 6 essential questions you absolutely must ask about any GenAI tool before you even think about rolling it out. First, and this one is fundamental, what is the data boundary? You need to know exactly what data the AI can see, right out of the box. And the critical follow-up question is, does it properly inherit the user's existing permissions from where that data lives? And why does that matter so much? Because this is the #1 way to prevent what's called privilege expansion, which is just a fancy way of saying the AI accidentally shows someone a file they were never supposed to see. It stops hidden data from popping up where it shouldn't. Next up,
Connectors and actions. This is a huge one. The guide points out that this is where a ton of real-world risk comes from. So, are those connections to other apps turned off by default? And maybe more importantly, are actions that can write or change data disabled until you explicitly say it's okay?
And this brings us to logging. I mean, think about it. If a connector goes haywire or an AI agent does something weird, you absolutely must have a record. Without good audit logs, you're just flying blind. You can't investigate, you can't prove what happened, and you can't fix the root problem.
And our final crucial question is all about the off switch. It's great to know how to turn a feature on, but it's arguably even more important for your security team to know how to turn it off, and turn it off fast. Can you quickly disable a specific user, a rogue connector, or an entire agent feature if something goes wrong?
All right, let's move to our final section and pull this all together into a smart, actionable plan for your company. This is the big takeaway.
The guide gives some really clear starting points based on the tools your company already uses. If you're a Microsoft shop, start with basic Copilot chat, then move to grounded search and save agents for last. Same pattern for Google, Gemini and Workspace first, then Notebook LM for knowledge, and Studio Automation way later. If you use a mix of everything, think about using a tool like ChatGPT Enterprise or Claude as a reasoning layer, but be super cautious about turning on apps and action features.
So if you remember one thing, it's this. The safest, smartest path for most companies is to choose one primary assistant that lives where your people do their daily work. You can add one optional, separate tool for more complex thinking. But the key is to delay that third agentic ring until your governance and controls are absolutely rock solid.
And that leaves us with a final question for you to take back to your team. Looking at how your own organization is adopting AI, are you rushing down the fast path, or are you deliberately building the smart path? Because that choice is going to define not just your innovation, but your security for years to come.